Ladies and gentlemen, soldiers, veterans, and esteemed viewers, welcome to the Fort Johnson podcast. I'm your host, and this week I'm here to guide you through the tales, trials, and triumphs of the 1st Battalion, 509th Infantry Regiment. Today, we're going to talk with the people behind the uniform, the soldiers who stand shoulder to shoulder, facing adversity with courage and camaraderie, all while training their fellow soldiers the art of warfare. So, whether you're a veteran, a family member, or simply someone with a deep respect for those who serve, join us as we honor the legacy of the Geronimos, 1st Battalion, 509th Infantry Regiment, a legacy built on duty, honor, and the unbreakable spirit of the American soldier. This is the Fort Johnson podcast. Stay tuned and let's walk this path together. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever you are listening to this podcast. I am Jeff England from the Fort Johnson Public Affairs Office, and we are here in the Fort Johnson Public Affairs podcast studio. Today with me, I've got two special guests from the 509th Geronimos. I've got First Lieutenant Will Duryea and Staff Sergeant Adam Craig. Welcome. Hey. How's it going, guys?
Sir. It's going great.
Going well myself.
You guys look so excited to be here.
Yeah, we are. We're fired up.
You guys are, you've got, you're a staff officer or a staff lieutenant. No, I like staff officer better.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. Staff officer for S3. What exactly is S3?
So that is a shop that we have nested within our headquarters company. And it's sort of the engine that drives the planning that then gets pushed down to our line companies to go execute. So it's kind of where lieutenants come, especially infantry lieutenants, to kind of initially pay their dues and get a feel for the rhythm of the infantry battalion that they're a part of. And so that's kind of the opportunity that's been given to me in that role, working for some pretty experienced officers and NCOs, just figuring out how we fight the fight at Geronimo.
Oh, cool.
And make the plan behind the fight.
So it's all about the planning. Without a plan, yep. You know what that reminds me of is the A-team. I love it when a plan comes together.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So Adam, you're a reconnaissance platoon squadron leader.
Squad leader, yeah.
Squad leader.
Yeah.
I'll say squadron. In the Air Force, it's a squadron.
Oh, okay.
I'm not in the Army.
I'm not at that level. I'm not at that level. That's way up.
So exactly what does the reconnaissance platoon do?
Well, it's a number of things that we can do. The battalion commander gives us generally a directive that we need to have for that stint of time in the box. A lot of times it's focused on reconnaissance specifically. So, for instance, the battalion commander will say, hey, we need you to answer these types of questions, such as, where are these people at? How many are they composed of? Where, what are they doing, right? And so it's up to us to make that, however it needs to be done, however it needs to get done, it's up to us to get that done. So it's generally reconnaissance focused for the most part. But, it's not always. There's a number of times where we've been told, hey, it's guns a-blazing, do this, and hey, we execute without asking. So it's.
But it's your platoon that goes out and finds out where everybody is.
Yeah.
And plan, and then we send it over to plans to say, okay, we're going to attack these guys from this area.
Yeah, right.
And he's out there, and I'm I'm in the tactical operations center moving pieces around on the board, watching his squad go far beyond the line. Yeah.
So you're the chess player and he's the pawn.
Well,
Okay. I'll let you be
sometimes
the
I feel like the pawn, but
So how do you guys like your job? Did you come in specifically wanting to do this kind of job or MOS or series?
Yeah, I can start with that. This has been a long time coming for me. I've known that I wanted to be in the infantry and a part of an airborne unit for a few years now, for sure. And so this is definitely something I've been working towards. Coming to this post was not something that was initially part of my plan, quite honestly. I think every young infantry officer has a vision of, going to one of the real high vis units like the 82nd or the 101st. But when I saw my options, and when I was still in my in basic officer leadership course, and I saw and heard some things about like Fort Johnson and what was happening at Geronimo, I preferenced it way higher than I think a lot of my peers did. And so getting to see all of that come to fruition, being in an infantry unit, being a part of the airborne, and being here and being alongside people who get to do their job, day in, day out. Like,
it's not just practicing for you guys.
It's not just practice. Like, we're really out doing these rotations every 3 weeks,
That's very cool.
Doing infantry tasks. Like, that's a blessing to be a part of.
Yeah, absolutely. And then and going on to your next assignment, you'll be able to say, "Yep, been there, done that."
Yeah, exactly. This is surely the low point for a lot of people in their Army career coming to this.
I don't get why people. There's a lot of people that come here thinking that it's going to be bad or something, and it turns out one of the best moves that they've ever done. Especially once you move on and you're able to say, "Yep, we were there, and this is what we did, and our job counted every day."
Right.
So that's cool. Did you come in wanting to be like a trainer, kind of reconnaissance for training?
Well,
or did you know you were going to be up for?
So I didn't know necessarily right out of the gate. I knew I was coming here, and I chose to be reconnaissance. When I first enlisted in the Army, I think it was two options. I think it was infantry, which is initially what I wanted, and then it was to be a scout. And I said, "Hey, what is a scout?" And the recruiter told me, he said, they always, I'm sure you've heard of this, they always show that video that's got the dirt bikes and it's got the cool guy stuff.
Oh, and the dune buggies?
Yeah, all the cool stuff.
Oh, man, those are cool.
Yeah, and I thought, hey, that's what I'd like to do. And so the next day I went in to the recruiter's office, and infantry was not available. So I said, hey, I'll take being a Calf Scout. So anyway, here I am doing that. But when I came here, I was excited because I really wanted to go airborne. I've been in two different duty assignments prior to this, and I was never airborne. And so I thought, hey, I'd really like to try it. I had some friends that came from here. They said some really cool stuff. They said it's the same thing every month, but you're getting reps of things that you don't get the opportunity to do in other line units. And so I said, hey, I'd like to try it out. It's only a 3-year stint. It's going to come and go really fast. So
yeah.
So anyway, it came and went really fast. I'm coming up on PCSing next week, so
wow,
it's coming up fast. The end of my 3 years have come up, so but it's been good. I think I've learned a lot, made a lot of good friends here, and looking forward to doing something new.
So where are you going next?
Fort Moore. Last year I re-enlisted for so I've done my squad leader time. The Army says you have to do a certain amount of squad leader time to be complete with your key development. So I finished that, and I'm moving on to a broadening assignment at Fort Moore. So I'll be teaching some Calf Scouts some cool stuff, how to do an OP, and just some fun things. So moving on.
How fun! Sounds fun.
Yeah.
I mean, and now you got the future is just like opened up for you, for both of you.
Right. Yeah.
So what's your when you look back on this next one, and you're telling people that they're thinking about doing the same thing that you're doing, or go down the same path, what would be one of the coolest stories that you tell them?
Oh, I've got a number of stories. So I don't know. I spent about a year and a half in 509th. Actually, let me try to break this down a little bit. 509th is it's got 4 or 5 infantry companies, right? Is it 4?
Yeah, we've got Able Baker Pathfinder.
And then So and then they've got one reconnaissance / like armor troop. So I spent my first year and a half with them, and so we were obviously still it's still the reconnaissance focus, but it's done in a different manner than the way that we do it in my platoon. So anyway, had a lot of. It was a lot more, I guess. I don't know. It's kind of hard to say, because you go out to, your intent is to do. You're basically sitting on a screen line every single rotation. It gets I mean, you're still fulfilling the intent, the commander's intent. You are, but then it's kind of like, hey, I've done this now for 12, 13, 14 times. I'm kind of ready to do something new. I want to change this up and get a little different feel for it. So anyway, we move over in the reconnaissance platoon. We're very active. We move throughout the box. I mean, from the beginning of rotation to the end of rotation, we are through that box the entire thing. I mean, we go from the north to the south to the east to the west. We're everywhere, and it's so much fun. But to tie it back into what we were talking about,
I told you that to tell you this.
Yeah. Actually, going back to a fun story I would like to include is there was one rotation. It was 310. 10th Mountain was here, and we had an air assault one night. We did an air assault. My platoon, it was probably 10 dudes, and we air assaulted into this HLZ, and our main focus that night was to eliminate. I'm pretty sure it was like a BSA. It's just a bunch of support guys that they were all coiled up, and anyway, so we went to knock those guys. I mean, we went and got through their lines, and then we killed everybody that was there. We notionally killed everybody that was there. It took probably 30 minutes to clear through. That was a lot of fun. And then we moved on to the battalion commander said, hey, I need you guys to go now hit this. So we walked, I don't know, probably 2 miles. This is probably midnight at this point, so it was pretty dark. And we walked about 2 miles, and then we got to this other location where they had artillery. So 310 had their artillery all set up in this big field, and they said, hey, I need you guys to take them out.
Like the big cannons that...
Yeah,
oh,
the big
cool.
the big batteries, guys. Anyway, so that was our task, us 10 guys. Well, so our platoon sergeant, he said, hey, let's jump on this bus. In the box, they have role players. They have role players that act as if the civilian populace. And so we jumped on this bus, and the bus drove us up to this big field. And in this field, there were two armored trucks that were guarding the gate. And as they were guarding the gate, like I said, it was dark. It was after midnight, and so we had our lights on, but they didn't have any lights on. And when the bus driver flashed his lights to see if we could get in, and RTU, the rotational training unit, let us in. They let us in completely. And so we were all on the bus, and we drove in. We dismounted. 10 guys dismounted. And we annihilated everybody
That's like a total Trojan horse kind of story right there.
Yeah, I wanted to include that because I thought that was one of the most fun that we had. And then afterwards, so I would assume there were probably 50, maybe 60 personnel in that area. And after we knocked out every one of us 10, we got rid of all of them. We all sat around. It was really fun because we all sat around, and they all wanted to see our night vision. They wanted to see how we wear a different uniform. We were the black multicam uniform.
Oh, so you're like ninjas.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. Anyway, so we talked and we kind of caught up a little bit, and then the battalion commander said, "Hey, you guys need to go hit something else," and we took off. So that I look back at those stories and I think that was rough at the time because it was hot. We were walking far, you got a lot of stuff on your back and so on. But looking back, it's like that was fun. That was a lot of fun. I enjoyed that.
And you guys use the Miles gear, like the laser tag kind of stuff.
Yeah. We have those. We have that with us every time we go on our vehicles and on our personnel. We always have Miles on us.
Yeah, I've seen some of the Humvees up there with their headlights. It's only like a little slit.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
So do you have I know there's a lot, most of the action is out in the field.
Of course.
And there's not a lot of action behind the desk, but you could tell us a story about getting a paper cut or something.
Yeah, no, for sure. It's definitely Staff Sergeant Craig and his boys out there doing the thing, having the fun. But I will say, like, it is rewarding and a real test to try to battle track a movement that, like a unit that is as mobile as we are. Like every hour we've got drastic changes in the way that our forces are arrayed because, like Staff Sergeant Craig is saying, like they move pretty much uncontested in the box for days at a time, just going objective to objective to objective. They're sending reports back. and we're trying our best to process them all, come up with new targets, and hearing what recon is passing back across our like battlefield like messaging system and across radio is really, really vital. Like, and I was just here. We've got a rotation going on right now, and I was just in the tactical operations center for my first like what's called fight night, which is 100% of our force in Geronimo, in the box at one time.
A lot of people.
Yeah, and so the amount of like information that's coming back all at one time is staggering to try to keep up with. And we'll get a report that recon has got eyes on an entire battery of 777s, like large cannons, and we take that information and we pass it to S2, as our intelligence, and they're saying like we need to hit that now, like link in with the guys over controlling our fires, and we say like, it's time for you guys to call a fire mission on this, let them know. And that whole targeting system happens like rapidly and repeatedly. So it's just trying to be the best conduit possible for the work that's getting done on the ground is stressful and not sexy, but like it feels like being part of something vital. And it's great to watch like a unit that works as rapidly as we do. Like that's a real.
See, I could totally see you in the office with that big clear board that you have to write backwards on. Yeah. Write down. Okay, we got these guys. Yeah. It's like, honestly, I watch all these shows on TV. I've never been the combat guy. I've always been, a DJ, whatever.
Yeah.
But I watch the shows on TV. I watched the unit, loved it. Watched Navy SEALs or SEAL Team, the TV series and stuff like that. And they can only be so realistic.
Sure.
But the things that I like about those shows is they show the S3 back there. They show the planners. They show that it's more of a team than just the guys out in the field. And it takes everyone. It takes the reconnaissance. It takes the planning and all that stuff just to keep people alive. And the training that you guys are doing and supplying for these guys. I mean, you might have gotten them all during training, but that's a heck of a lot better than them learning that lesson out in the field,
right,
in the real world. So
right.
You guys are doing a great job out there. I don't know how you feel about it. I think you guys are awesome.
Appreciate it.
Thanks.
So so you're almost gone. You'll be going to Fort Moore. Where is that?
It was Fort Benning, Georgia.
Oh, okay.
Now it's Fort Moore, yeah.
So you'll be going to Georgia, and how long have you been here, Will?
So I arrived here in December of 2023. So this is, as opposed to Sassler and Craig's third, this is my first duty assignment. So this is the stepping off point.
So should we warn him about August around here, or
no,
just let him learn for himself?
I'm coming from the Gulf Coast of Florida, so it's nothing new.
No, this is nothing like Florida, especially the Gulf Coast. Oh, I love Cocoa Beach. I mean, that's the Atlantic side, but I've been to Tampa and all that stuff and Tallahassee, and that's some nice stuff. It gets hot, but you got that sea breeze going because you're close to the Gulf. This, not around here.
None of that. None of that.
No. You talk about stifling? Nope. No, this is a step above it.
I don't even want to go outside.
Yeah.
I want to transition to the midnight schedule and then work at night and then night only. I wish I could choose to do that, but you can't.
See, that's how we got around a lot of the inspections.
Oh yeah.
When I was in the Guard here in Louisiana, we had operational readiness inspections. So we would always plan them for two reasons. We'd always plan them in the summer, around August, for two reasons. One is because everyone's out of school, so all the younger guys that are in college and stuff. But mainly because none of the judges and the people that are grading us were from around the South and stuff, so they would call it early.
Oh, I bet. Yeah. That's a great tactic.
Yeah, it was. It was great.
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of people that I've noticed that come through here, or a lot of people that talk trash about Fort Johnson are going through the box.
Oh yeah,
and they say, "Oh, it's horrible there. It's horrible." It's like it's supposed to be horrible. You're in the conditions.
Yeah. I mean, I came through as the rotational training unit back in 2016, and it was miserable. It was miserable, and of course we were restricted to the. I think it was North Fort. I don't think we couldn't go anywhere outside of North Fort. We couldn't even come down to the gyms down on the south. But yeah, so seeing that, when I heard I was going to JRTC, I thought, oh no, like this is going to be miserable. But of course, we get our time off. We get comp time. We get plenty of different things. It's not like we're stuck in North Fort for 3 years at a time. So
yeah,
we've made the best of it.
Yeah, this is. I mean, Fort Johnson's got a lot of great stuff behind the wire. Hey,
yeah,
look at that!
Yeah.
I got the lingo.
There you go.
Behind the fences and stuff. We got to go and go. But so where are you hoping to go next?
That's a good question. I've kind of got the hope that I'd be able to stay, in the airborne. I like the way, the esprit de corps, of like that pride of being a paratrooper. But it's a ways down the road in terms of I've still yet to take a platoon.
Yeah, you just got here,
and past that,
go on to your next assignment as a captain.
And I'll be at Fort Moore in the interim, training to be a company commander on down the road. So, it's a ways away, but yeah, I wouldn't mind taking what I learned here and moving that somewhere else, like the 82nd or the 101st.
Yeah, I was when I was in active duty, I was at Vicenza, and I believe there is an airborne unit there.
Yeah, the 173rd.
And we went up to Volksmarch up in Holland, or in the Netherlands, and we passed a leg farm. And I'm in the van with everyone else, and I looked at it, it's like a leg farm, and everyone looked out and started laughing, and it's like, why are you guys laughing at a leg farm? They're all like, that's where they make them. Apparently, airborne and legs slightly different.
Yeah,
yeah,
they are.
So you guys both have your jump qualify.
Yeah,
wings or your parachutes.
Yep. Yeah, we are.
I'm definitely, a much newer jumper than Sergeant Craig, but yeah.
Oh, so he could tell you about all the other types of parachutes that they've used.
Yeah, I don't know if he's used anything but the T11, but
I have, but I'm not nearly as old school as the T10. I don't know when the T10 was out, but I've only experienced the T11 and the MC6. But
so that's the T11's a round one.
T11 is more of like the. I mean, it's round, it is, but it's more of like a boxy shape. The MC6 is the circular one.
Oh,
it's the one you can steer. It's got the toggles that come down, and you can steer pretty well. The only key to that is if you're going with the wind when you're landing, you're going to increase your speed by 10 knots.
Uh-oh.
So you need to ensure you're turning into the wind as you're landing. Because I made that mistake. I think it was a UH-60 jump. And I was trying to release my equipment or something like that, and I was all flustered. Well, I went with the wind, and it was fast. It was fast. But I mean, you learn from that. I mean, I'm glad I did it here than as opposed to downrange.
Did you tuck and roll, or just did you roll?
You just kind of. I don't.
You PLF always.
Yeah, you PLF. Yeah,
always.
But no, I've loved it. I've like I said, this is my first airborne assignment, and I've loved it. I came from the Bradley world. I did a few years with Bradleys, and I realized very quickly that was not for me. I mean, Bradleys were fun in the sense that, you go out and do like a platoon live fire. You go do a maneuver range, and that is a lot of fun when you've got, 6 Bradleys moving simultaneously and then breaking contact or whatever. It's so cool to see it done right. But then in order to get there, the maintenance is insane. And then you're doing 24-hour operations in order to make sure that the Bradleys are good to go. And then we deployed with them. So you got to make sure, of course, they're good to go downrange. And so there's all these things going on. And I felt like you spent 80% of your time getting those operational, and you spend 20% of your time actually doing the training. So anyway, I said, hey, let's go airborne. Let's try something new. And ever since I got here, I've gotten on. I don't think there's a single jump that I've missed. So we jump with Ops Group and we jump with 509th. It's a different entity, but Ops Group is like brigade level. So we can always jump on with him as well. And so every single opportunity I've gotten, I've taken it. And so it's been I talked to some guys that are at 82nd, did a 2 or 3 year stint there, and they didn't get nearly as many jumps as you can here. So and the opportunities for jumps here are endless. It's great. I absolutely love it. So
nice.
I've drank the Kool-Aid here.
So how many jumps have you been on so far?
Only 6.
6?
Yeah. So I've got my 5 that I did to become qualified to be airborne, and I've been on one jump while I've been here. But we've got one coming up this week. Yeah. So that'll be number 2 with the unit. Yeah.
In the dark or?
It'll be.
No, it'll be
daytime
here. There's one slotted for later this week for the 16th. It's supposed to be a UH-60, which is the best jump you can get. It's from a Black Hawk. And there was one that was supposed to be tomorrow, which is canceled due to rotation. But if we can get it back, it'll be a high performance, which will be fun. That'll be a lot of fun.
Now, have you guys, or I don't even know what unit would do it, but have anybody do halos around here, or?
There is.
Now, that's a high altitude, low opening.
Right.
It's like skydiving.
Yeah. Their Ops Group does have SOT-D. SOT-D is the Special Operations guys attached to Ops Group, and they have their own military free fall team, and they all do it there. We were just on a jump, I think it was last week, and we were all rigged up in the C-130, and we were going to do our first pass. We were going to do a ramp jump, and it was going to be out of the rear of the C-130, and then after we were to come out, the C-130 was going to go up to, I don't know what their altitude is. It's like commercial plane. It's like it's like well above the clouds, and so really cool stuff. But the SOT-D guys were loaded in the front of the aircraft. So as they go up, then they get ready to go. They drop the ramp again, and then I've never done it myself. I never have, but I've seen guys just like there's no like really etiquette on how to jump out. I think they just they head dive, they go backwards, they do flips.
Well, you got enough time.
Yeah. And then so we were on the DZ as they were landing, and it's really cool to see that. I mean, because sometimes they wear those. I don't know if they always do, but they wear those altimeters that tell you what altitude you're at, and so they look cool, and it's. I can only imagine how that is, because by the time we exit, it's probably a minute until you hit the ground. It's so fast, you don't have a whole lot of time to really look around and enjoy it. But for those guys, they're in the air for a minute, so I can only imagine how that is.
It does sound fun. I mean, I've seen it on TV. And I've heard about it, and I've seen, and we've actually had the Golden Knights here.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they were here for Freedom Fest several years ago.
Oh, cool.
And that was really cool. They jumped out of I think it was a Lakota.
Really?
I think. It's hard to see what it was.
Yeah,
it was kind of up there.
That's cool.
But they had smoke coming out, so you could follow them.
Yeah.
Like, oh, that poor guy's on fire.
Yeah. That's cool.
So is there anything that you're looking forward to that you haven't done yet? Well, maybe not you, but is there anything that you're looking forward to getting to do?
Absolutely, yeah. The training objective, for the longest time has been getting ready for platoon leadership, and I've got that coming up shortly. So going down to one of the 3 line companies we have, and I'm looking forward to like really starting my kind of Geronimo career. So I've got all of the infantry experience ahead of me.
This is
not
great.
Behind me.
This is great. I got the brand new one and the OG. It's like, I get both ends.
That's the officer NCO dynamic that works though. I mean it's a weird thing, but you've got to put the very inexperienced guy who's technically in charge with the NCO who's got it all figured out.
That's so great.
One supporting the other.
You guys sound like you love your job. I would say that you would recommend it to anybody that wants some excitement in their life.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. If I wouldn't have gone so in order to get to my platoon, you have to tryouts, and so it's a selected thing. And if I wouldn't have been selected, or just chosen for the job, I still would have had fun in dog troop, but it has been such a great thing. I would absolutely recommend it for anybody that's coming in to Geronimo. I'd say, hey, absolutely, give it a shot. Even if you're not selected the first time, we'll come back again. Figure out where you're weak at, and come back again and try it again.
It's awesome.
It's fun. Really,
that's
good fun.
awesome. Well, guys, I appreciate you guys coming in. I don't want to take up too much of your time. I know you got a rotation going on and some sleep to get, because I know you work overnight and all that stuff. You should have seen this guy. He came in the other week and he's like, I am so tired.
Oh, I bet, yeah.
But I appreciate you guys coming in, man.
Yeah.
Adam Craig and Will Duryea. Appreciate you guys coming in, and maybe we can have you back on here again. Well, maybe not you. I'll have to go over TDY.
Come on over.
All right. Well, I say I'm Jeff England from the Fort Johnson Public Affairs Office. You've been watching the Fort Johnson podcast, and please leave a comment, subscribe, hit that notify button. Let us know what you're interested in seeing, and we will be listening and watching at you later.
That was easy.